Hello, and welcome to How to Make Art in Texas. I'm Matt Wolf, and today I'm visiting with Douglas Britt. Hello, and welcome to How to Make Art in Texas. Today I'm visiting with Brian Rod and Cody Medina of the Joanna, Bill Arting, Executive Director of the Contemporary Arts Museum, Houston. Now you know why Corey hates editing. Because I'm a nightmare. Hello, welcome to How to Make Art in Texas. I'm Matt Wolf, and today I'm visiting with Michelle White. And today I'm here with the art guys. I'm Matt Wolf, and today I'm visiting with Wayne Gilbert. Today I'm with Noelle Mason. Today we're in San Antonio at 1906 Flores at the Smart Art Project Space. And I'm visiting with Potter Belmar Labs. I'm visiting with Sarah Fish. Today we're visiting with Kimberly Aubuchon. I'm Matt Wolf, and I'm visiting with Chris Sauter.
Hi.
Ken Little.
They ended up being a lot more playful than that.
Yeah.
And actually I've sort of had trouble with that because I've made things that I thought were really scary. And the first shoe animals I made, I thought they were Frankensteinish. I thought they were just awful, kind of spooky, and everybody laughed at them. You know? I was like, they're cool. And so anyway, I worried about that for a while, but after a while I thought, well, I can use it.
It's the most stereotypical thing that you were talking about Western mythologies, but yeah, cake decorating is the most stereotypical thing that I take part in because I'm gay. So when you grow up in rural Texas on a ranch, you eventually become a cake decorator.
Is that how that works?
Yeah, apparently.
And that's why I can't decorate fucking cake, because I didn't grow up in a rural ranch.
Yeah. No.
I want you to know I've almost cried. I'm like, okay, I can't decorate a cake.
It's hard.
But they're trying to act like they have some deep academic, theological, psychological, philosophical, whatever understanding of that. And it's okay with me. I like it because that's what art is. But it's still, of course, then the question becomes, where do you go from here?
Yes.
See what I mean? There's the key.
How would you describe the state of art criticism in Texas, or at large, if you prefer to talk about it on a larger scene?
Yeah.
And what would you do to change this if you could?
I mean, the biggest problem I think and maybe to start with Texas, because I think we're all spread so thin, those of us who are doing
We're in
it.
a really interesting moment because the role of the curator is under question, and there's these great sort of conversations and articles and books coming about what does it mean to be a curator now, especially what does it mean for a curator working within an institution to curate contemporary art, which by its nature is almost antithetical to the type of modernist box that the institution still is.
In a really deep sense, any writing helps you to do any other kind of writing. That ad copy can make you a better poet, that arts criticism can make you a better playwright, that it's a similar creative sense all the way through. And I think writing stuff like that made me aware of how vulnerable you are when you make art. Just how hard it is on the other side of the divide. Even if it's not fine art.
Because those children are tearing you apart.
Those children are rough, honey.
All of my work has something to do with making the unseen seen, making the unheard heard, making the unfelt felt, and trying to make the unthought thought. That's a Zubima.
My dad thought I was a weird freak because he's like, "Do you want to go play in the park?" I'm like, "No, I want to go back to the museum." I always wanted to spend time in museums, and when I would my first loves in art, the Picassos, the Pollocks, the Warhols, all I wanted to do was to have been there when it was made and to be there as part of the process. And my even desire in studying art history was you want to you want the time machine. You want to be able to go back and say like, yeah, you walked into Jackson's studio like, "Hey Jack, that's good. Did you mean to put the cigarette out on it?" And I've gotten to do that as an adult, and I'm really grateful for that.
How do you feel that Joanna fits in with other art institutions of Houston and Texas?
I mean, we got our idea for the Joanna from other institutions in Houston. I mean,
well, Seesaw specifically, just like the kind of artist run dynamic that was there.
Different things every time, different artists every time.
What would you want to go to prison for?
Not hurting anyone. Wow. I've never heard that. That's such a unique question to
Well, that was just,
If
it's
you
just
could go to prison, what would it be for?
right.
Yeah, right.
I hear the sex is good. So all right, that's really digression.
Oh, we're gonna dine at Denny's for 24 hours. Oh, let's put it on television. Let's put it on the morning news. These two guys, and then do this story. Oh, these two guys are sitting at Denny's for 24 hours and they're dining. Can you get over that? And we're just like, this is the easiest fucking thing to do. It's just that. And
If there was a question you had wanted us to ask you, what would it be? And you can answer it then. There's something in this interview that you're like,
How big is your cock?
All right.
Here.
How big is your cock? Is it bigger than mine?
That interview devolved.
MasterCard or Visa, buy some brand new pants. Bring a shake and lose some weight and get your hair transplants. Find a pretty little girl and get her breast implants. Take her home and have a drink and hold implants in your hands. It's America. Ah, it's so simple and